Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Inkwell Gamers Podcast. Today, we have a couple things on the agenda. We're going to talk about the tournament that we both competed in last weekend, Tia's 10K tournament, and we're going to talk a little bit about the store championships that are coming up this coming weekend. A lot of competitive Lorcana, and it is really exciting and a lot of fun.
Yeah. Let's get right into it.
All right, Dana. So tell us, this is your first time competing in one of the PAX tournaments.
Right. So this past weekend, we actually got to borrow a friend's laptop. So we both had two computers we could do it off of. And so you set up in our podcast room and I was in the living room, just comf on the couch and did my thing, or tried to.
Yeah. So tell us how you did.
I did better than I thought, honestly. So going in, my goal was don't go over, right? Like I wanted to at least get a point. I knew it was a big tournament. It was the largest tournament they've had so far. Every week that they do it, it keeps getting bigger. So yeah, it was a pretty large tournament. And I knew that because people all around the world can participate in it, obviously the competitive pool is much higher than just like a local tournament that we could drive to. So I give myself a goal of a point.
Yeah, I think you were shortchanging yourself a little bit.
Yeah, so going into the weekend, you're like, I think you should set a goal for 8 points. I'm like, I'll be lucky if I get one, okay? I got 8.
You got one your very first set.
So I did, I'll just quickly go through kind of how the rounds went out for me. But I drew the first, I went 0 for the second and the third, drew the fourth, drew the fifth. I actually took one. My 6th round, I won both games. So I was really proud of myself for that one. Yeah. And then I went 0 for again, and then I drew and I drew. But yeah, as the day progressed, you kept saying, I think you're going to do it. I'm like, nah, probably not. And yeah, so
that just took 1-2-0, you know?
That was a huge surprise. So I'm proud of myself. I didn't think I could do it. Not that I think that I suck, but I just know that I try to be realistic. I don't go into tournaments thinking my goal is to win them. Most of the time, my goal is to go in and at least win a match. And that was when it was best of 3, I guess I should say. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I try to set realistic expectations for myself. And I exceeded my own. So yeah, it was pretty exciting. It was marathon, man. I mean,
it's a long day, isn't it?
Yeah. Although now I think since they implemented the 2-game rounds, or however they're saying it, I feel like it goes quicker. The days where I didn't participate but you did and it was best of 3, I mean, those did take a long time, but we did 8 rounds in, how long was
9 rounds in like 7.5 hours.
Yeah, so it went quick. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's a mental marathon.
It is. It gets exhausting. What'd you play, Dana?
Of course, Steel, Emerald. I mean, are we really surprised?
The old go-to. What'd you like and not like about your list?
So I feel like as the Steel Emerald deck, I had a lot of discard elements for my opponent in there, but I feel like throughout the day, I kept finding myself having less cards than them. And I only played against Amir twice. So I don't understand why I kept running out of cards. However, I think you and I kind of debriefed about this and how I don't really have card draw per se like other decks might. So I'm using these cards and not really replenishing them with any sort of draw. And I think too, because I'm playing Ursula, I wanted to have a lot of like songs. Mm-hmm. And so I think, I don't know, I feel like I was playing a lot of like songs and actions and stuff. So I was like using more cards per turn than because I was singing, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't really like that. I think I'm going to try to do some tweaking.
Yeah, outside of Prince John and Let the Storm Rage On, there's not a lot of early card draw. I mean, you have the Beast, which can draw cards, but
that's it.
That's kind of even been going down in popularity just because.
I guess. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
That's okay. I was gonna say, just the Beast is going down a little bit in popularity because of Madame Medusa, so that doesn't even get to draw cards all the time.
Yeah.
Same thing with Robin Hood, so it just isn't the best at drawing cards. So you're just kind of one for one-ing your opponent a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And
like
they actually do have friends on the other side, or a whole new world,
or the rabbit, or whatever.
Or the rabbit,
yeah. And so, and I don't know, like that was one thing. And then I feel like for the first time since I've really started playing the game, I felt like I had a lot of games in which I was like a turn off or an ink off from being able to play something, which, I mean, you and I have talked about this several times on the podcast, is that we do tend to play higher uninkables in our decks, but I've never really had an issue with having a card in my hand and not being able to play it because I don't have enough ink.
Mm-hmm.
So it was the first time that I've kind of experienced being in that situation, and I didn't really like that either. But I will say that it did feel more comfortable than trying to do the emerald amethyst bounce aggro thing that I tried a couple weekends ago at a different like in-person tournament. It felt more comfortable for me with that.
Yeah.
So
I think in order to like really master this deck, you'll probably have to get used to playing on 5 ink pretty consistently, because I play against this deck a lot on Pixelborn, and that just seems to be a common trend, is that they have 4 or 5 ink, but they're still able to play the game at a reasonable level even with that. So
yeah,
which kind of surprises me, but yeah, it's a good deck. I just think it's a hard one to master a little bit.
Yeah, one thing, I feel like I saw everything that day, which I expected. I pretty much saw every deck that's in the meta right now. However, I feel like the thing that surprised me the most is that I only saw one Steel Song deck the entire day, and it was my last round. I figured I would have at least seen more than one. I was kind of almost mentally prepared to see a couple. It was, in my head, it was that deck and then the Ruby Sapphire that I anticipated on seeing the most, and I only saw like one of each.
Yeah, I played against your deck 3 times. Versions of your deck.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the more common decks I've been seeing lately. But yeah, I only saw Steel Song once as well, and that was in the 3rd round. It did not go very well for me.
Do you want to go? How about you go through what you played, how you did? Let's reverse.
All right, so I ended up with 13 points. I don't know. I feel honestly a little unlucky that I only ended up with 13 points. And as I go down the round by round results, I'll tell you why. The first round, I think I just flubbed a little bit. I played against Ruby Sapphire. Oh, sorry, I should mention that I played Ruby Amethyst. Mm-hmm. That's, my go-to. And as far as the matchup spread, I think it's a 50-50 deck. Like, it can win against anything, lose against anything. It's just really consistent. And I think if you know your matchups pretty well, then that gives you a pretty big advantage into whatever deck you're facing. So I'm really comfortable with this deck, and that's why I decided to play it, right? So first round against Ruby Sapphire, I actually like this matchup from my side. I don't know if a lot of people do, because you just can't interact with dimes, and that's a really problematic card. I went 1-1 against it. I'm pretty sure I misplayed, though. I should have prepped on one turn. Instead, I just tried to apply more pressure to the board, and then they played their dime and got a bunch of lore, and they just dimed me out from like 9 or something. So that was a little unfortunate. Might have been able to pull out the win if I just prepped that turn instead. Next round was against Ruby Amber. I 2-0'd. This deck looks like it'd be a lot of fun to play, just because you're just playing all characters and you're playing just a bunch of sweet characters a lot of the time, but I don't think it's actually a very good deck. So yeah, I 2-0'd that. The next round I played against Steel Song, and I O2'd. First game, I misplayed on turn 3. I shouldn't say I misplayed, I misclicked. I played Fox on turn 3, and I meant to pick up whatever my 1-drop was. I think it was a Rafiki, and instead I clicked on the Fox, which just would have been able to take out their Queen 1 cost, but I didn't get to, so...
Which I feel like that was a huge... It's hard to accept misplays like that when they're not even really misplays, that it's just the difference between playing in person and on Pixelborn. Is like in person, you would obviously not make that mistake.
Yeah, like, I clicked, like, right in between the two characters, but I guess I was just a little bit closer to the Fox on accident. But yeah, then the Queen ended up shifting the next turn, and it just absolutely... It stayed in play for the whole game, I think. And it sung a bunch of songs, it quested a lot. I think I would have won the game if I would have been able to take care of that one. Alright, round 4, I 2-0'd the mirror. I like the mirror match generally. I just kind of got ahead in both games, played to the board. They fell too far behind in lore, and yeah, just finished them off. It really wasn't super difficult. Next round was Emerald Steel, the first of 3 against Emerald Steel. I won that. Pretty close match both ways, honestly. I generally like this matchup too, but they played pretty well and kind of forced out a be prepared and still had enough left over, so yeah, they played pretty well. The next match was against Steel Sapphire, 1-1. This is a match that I don't really like, personally, but I feel like I got unlucky to only 1-1, because on the turn that they absolutely had to top deck a whole new world, they did, and they just were able to snowball. They had no cards in their hand, they're like a Gaston on board, and if they didn't top deck at that turn, I probably win the game. So that was unfortunate. Next match again against the mirror, 1-1. They top decked Be Prepared at a timely point in one of the games, and that just got me. Then Emerald Steel, 2-0. Again, I say I like this matchup. Round 9, the last round, I played against Emerald Steel, and it was a Bucky version with Shift Flynn. And they played 3 Buckies in the first 5 turns the first game, 2 Buckies in the first 3 turns the second game, and it was just too much Bucky.
Too much Bucky.
Just discarded too many cards. The Shift Flynn was a really fast clock, and yeah, in the first game I felt like I had a chance if they didn't get the 3rd Bucky, because I'd be prepared and I would have been able to play it. But the 3rd Bucky made me discard, those 2 extra cards with 2 more shifts, and yeah, I just couldn't do anything after that. So I feel like I got a little unlucky to only get 13 points, but of course I could have played better in the first match, so and probably at various points throughout the rest of the tournament as well. So it's obviously not all luck. It just the unlucky misclick and the top deck whole new world just kind of stick with you a little bit more.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty good tournament besides that. Like, it was a lot of fun. I feel like I learned a lot and played pretty well for the most part, and I didn't play against anything super surprising. So yeah, I like my deck choice, and I may rock it back with some tweaks this weekend.
Yeah. I feel like I can last longer for these Pixelborn tournaments than I can in person. I feel like whenever we've gone to tournaments, come like the 4th round, I'm like, can I just freaking drop? Because I am mentally exhausted. I have a headache. I feel like it's just... I don't know, like, I always end up just being so tired, but...
You also have the social aspect where you're, like, engaging with people the whole time as well. Which...
Wait, just kidding.
Yeah, but that is exhausting. Plus, when you're at home, you're just, like, chilling in comfy clothes, and you're able to eat and drink whenever you want, and...
Yeah.
You can, in between your matches, if you get done early, you can just, like, sit there and close your eyes for 10 minutes or whatever. So it's just a lot more relaxing, and I think the social aspect can definitely wear on you in person as well.
Yeah. Like, I mean, not that I care about food, but I do care about food. Like, we always bring multiple snacks to tournaments, but it's not the same as having like a meal. And when you go to tournaments that are in person, I mean, unless you have a buy, you can't really like go and have a full lunch or whatever. So it was nice that we were just, I mean, I feel like, not that I care about the food, but I care about the food.
Yeah, no, I do too.
I like to eat.
I do too. But yeah, I really like these tournaments because I just, I'm just comfortable in my own house. And
they're so convenient. You don't have to drive.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And they're very well organized and very well put together. So that was one thing that I really liked, the level of production. And even the streams, too. Those are so well done that it's, I definitely want to do more.
Yeah, it's a really enjoyable experience all around. If you're just spectating on Sunday, playing on Sunday, Saturday, it's just a good time.
Yeah, for sure. But we do have some in-person tournaments coming up because there are the store championships coming up.
Yeah, we have one each weekend day for the next 2 weeks.
Yep, 4 and 2 weekends. It's going to be...
It's probably going to be exhausting because they're not all in the same place. They're not all in the same town, so...
Well, second weekend is.
Oh, yeah, that's true. We got two in our hometown here, so that's nice.
But this coming weekend, the one on Saturday, it's probably about a 45-minute drive. And then the one on Sunday is a little over an hour, but
not too bad.
Yeah, it starts earlier, so I don't mind it, but it'll be fine. It'll be fun. Are you planning on bringing the same deck, or switching it up, or undecided?
I am deciding between 2 decks. Again, Ruby Amethyst. There's just some changes I really want to test out, just because I feel the need to just test some things out to make it better in the Steel Song matchup and against the Emerald decks. Just having ways to clear 3-cost Ursula in a timely manner, as well as being able to challenge some of Steel Song's early shiftable characters. So yeah, that's kind of... I'm just looking at more ways to do that, a little less on the top end. If I don't do that, it's going to be Ruby Sapphire, and I'm still trying to put together a deck list I like for that as well. Way less experience with that deck, but how hard can it be? Just ramp into Be Prepared and then play Tomato and a Dime and you win. How hard could it be?
Yeah, of course. I mean... I know you're sarcastic, but I don't even know how to reply to that.
There's only so much gameplay that goes into Tomato a Dime, so no. I think the ramp decks can be pretty challenging, just knowing what to ink, especially with your Fishbone Quills, but also just knowing how many inkables to play. Like, I know the one I have loaded up on my phone right now in the app has 22 inkables. I'm like, I should probably try to bring that down a couple, but it's hard.
Yeah. I am going to stick with the Steel Emerald, but I think I'm going to make some modifications to it.
Yeah.
I feel like I need a little bit more ability to interact. If I feel like my opponent's putting something threatening on the board, I think I will probably end up taking out the 2 big Cinderellas, because I think of all 9 rounds, I might have only gotten to her once. And so I think she's just too expensive for that. So I don't know. I also think I might remove the Buckies, keeping the Prince Johns in there, but maybe I see some people playing with Friar Tuck, and I feel like that's a good follow-up to Prince John. So I might add those in. I might add the hooks in.
Hooks and Smees, maybe.
Hooks and Smees. I think those will be a little bit more... I think it'll help me be a little bit more aggressive, but not super susceptible to something easy like someone's grab your swords or whatever. Because I am playing the Cursed Merfolk, and if I do get that early in the game, of course I'm going to try to play it on turn 1 and turn 2 if I can, but if I see them later, I know that if I'm going to play it, it's just going to just go away immediately. Yeah. So I just feel like I just need a little bit something else.
Yeah, Smee is an aggressive 2-drop in the sense that a quest for 2, but it is also just good at threatening your opponent's early characters. It's something that 2-cost Flynn Rider could never do, right?
Right.
It's just doesn't have the stats. So I like both of those choices of playing Captain Hook and Smee. And if we cut down the curve a little bit, then, that might make it easier when you don't have, 6 ink or 5 ink or whatever like you're used to. So, I've seen some lists cut Tinkerbell because they have that issue as well, where it's just hard to get up to that much ink consistently.
Yeah, I think... See,
I'm not saying we're going there, but...
No, we're not going there. I will say that I'm on the fence about whether I also want to add in Morph, because I am playing quite a few shift characters. The fact that I have the Beast and Tink and Robin, I think... I am playing smaller Robins too, but I think it would be nice to have a way to maybe see those earlier, but I don't know... To be decided on Morph, but I also think I might try to see if I can fit in a Mother Knows Best, because that's just something that the 3-cost Ursula can sing. And yeah, man, I love her. I double sang as much as I possibly could, and it's awesome.
Yep, I think adding in, I think you only have 3 Let the Storm Rage On in there. I would try to add in a 4th, and then...
Yeah,
I also think that having more Along Came Zeus. You were talking about just ways to interact with their threats. It's a really powerful removal spell. So
yeah, I had in only 2 Along Came Zeuses, and I had 4 Strength of Raging Fires in, and it's tough because, Strength of a Raging Fire is inkable, but there are often times in which I might have only had 1 character on the board, and so it wouldn't have even done anything anyway. So that's kind of tough that, I want to try to, if I'm going to put in an uninkable, I try to make it an even trade for another one, but it's like the things that I think I need to cut are inkables. So yeah. I really need to maybe try to find that magic number, but I will say, I think the deck that I'm most scared of are the Sapphire decks, particularly the Ruby Sapphire. And so I do like the fact that I sprinkled in a couple Benjas, and then I had 1 Rise of the Titans that was good, and that actually came in handy. Both of those cards at some point.
Do you think, sorry to interrupt, but do you think just having the 3rd Benja would have been better than Rise of the Titans? How many locations did you actually take out?
I didn't see any. It was more the items. Like I was getting rid of the Fishbone Quills, but I only put in Rise of the Titans because I'm like, okay, well, the item aspect can help out with the Sapphire decks, and then I feel like the Queen's Castle is what I was going to see, and I didn't see any Queen's Castle. So, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I might keep that one in just in case, because maybe not so much the Ruby Sapphire, and correct me if I'm wrong, maybe not so much the Ruby Sapphire decks, but the Sapphire Steel ones still might be playing the McDuck. Yeah, the McDuck Manor. So I think I might still keep in Rise of the Titans, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
We'll have to workshop it.
We'll table that for later. But yeah, I think I'm gonna keep this. It felt better than the Emerald Amethyst deck that I tried to play. I know I'm never gonna get back the same feel as my set 1 Emerald Amethyst, but
although there was one really sweet Emerald Amethyst deck that got top 16 in this tournament with Elsa's in it.
All right, I'm not going to lie, I did not see that, so I'm going to go and look at that when we get in.
Yeah, it looked absolutely awesome. Brennan was playing against it in the last round. I think he won 1 against it, but yeah, just bibbidi bobbidi boo, Elsa and Genies.
That sounds fun.
Yes. But also played...
Because I played both of those characters in my...
Yeah. And especially good with Ursula singing Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo. But that deck also did play goats and foxes and rabbits, so...
Oh. Never
You
mind.
can figure it out.
I don't know. I didn't like it, man.
You can figure it out, I bet.
I don't know.
Hey, it might be worth it to play Elsa again.
I know I did love Elsa. And Genie. I mean, Genie on the Job was my jam.
Yeah,
I
the
freaking
OG.
loved that card so much. So we'll see. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, so that's what I'm bringing. But I'm excited.
I'm really excited too. Just need to figure out what I'm playing.
Yep. You're going to be tired too. I mean, I don't know if we should talk about the other game on here, but you're going to a Magic pre-release tomorrow night.
Yep, Magic pre-release the night before. Well, our tournament isn't until 1 o'clock on Saturday, so it'll be okay.
I know, but normally when you come home from those, it's at like 3 a.m. and then...
Yeah, but half the time I'm bringing like a box home with me.
True, I don't know.
So
we'll see.
Sometimes it works out.
We'll see. But yeah, I'm pretty excited for these. I think we're going to have a lot of fun the next few weekends.
Heck yeah.
I know we're probably going to have different answers than each other, but do you have any goals going into the next 2 weeks?
I at least want one playmat that says champion on it. If I get one of those, I will be pretty happy. Besides that, I want 4 stitches. I think I'll be able to top 4 a couple of them, hopefully all of them. That might be a little, I don't know, hopefully that doesn't come off bad, but for me to think that, but...
Well, in all fairness, a couple of the ones that we're doing are pretty small.
Yeah,
so,
that's true.
I mean, there is a chance.
Yeah, but really, as long as I walk away with, well, if I get 2 stitches, oh gosh, I'm not even gonna say that. No, I want 4. But
even if you get a play set, you're not probably gonna we're gonna pack those away.
Oh yeah, I don't plan on playing them.
Okay.
I do want the play mat to play on though.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
For sure.
I
You want to
want
whip
the play
that
mat.
bad boy out when we go to Atlanta.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which.
Oh yeah. We did update. We got into Atlanta.
Woo!
So we're going, and you actually
I got in twice.
One as a judge. So when we didn't think that we were going to be able to get in, Dalton applied to be a judge just because we really wanted to go regardless.
One excuse to be there.
And here's me not applying to be a judge, not in the tournament, and I'm just going to go. I'm just going to have a good time.
Sure, applied to be a judge too.
See what it's all about. Oh, come on. But yeah, so you got accepted to be a judge, but that was after we found out we got into Atlanta, and you're like, you know what, never mind, I don't need this anymore.
Nope. Don't need to be a judge. I'm going for
Going for real.
going for a better reason for myself.
Yeah. But no, those are good goals. I think, the difference between you and me is that by you saying that, it actually could potentially happen. Whereas, I'm just being realistic to myself. I don't think I'm walking away with a first place win or a second place win. I'm just hoping to get a stitch.
I really hope you get a stitch too, baby.
But let's be real.
You could.
I don't know. I'm going to go in with the same goal I went into this past weekend. Just don't offer. I want to get a point. So that's my goal. See,
you're keeping it low again.
If you keep it extremely low,
but my expectations for you are higher.
You won't disappoint yourself.
Jeez.
So that's my goal. Going with 1 point, and if I come out with 1, boom. It's going to be really hard to disappoint myself if my goal is 1 point. Watch, I'm not going to get any.
Knock on wood.
Why did I say that out loud? But yeah, so cool.
Yeah, I believe that you could definitely get top 4 at our LGS's event. So
I'm not participating in that.
Dang it, you're right.
I actually am being a judge, guys.
She is judging that event.
And I'm going out of my comfort zone.
Goodness.
I know that all of the locals that go to our league at the LGS, they were all really excited to participate in. Of course, I want to participate in it too, but I'm also a nerd for event planning and organization. And our store owner hadn't ever ran a TCG event like this before, and so I was like, I will help you. Mm-hmm. I'm a very organized person. I will help you. So, and then we felt like you need a judge, and here I am. So
well, you know, you're a rule follower, so I think
I am a rule follower. So I think
you'll
it'll
be
be
excellent.
fine. Oh, thank you. I think I will be fine, but I just hope that no one needs me.
I'm gonna judge first round.
Judge. I'll look at you and be like, no. Just kidding. But no, it'll be a lot of fun. I'm really excited. I'm excited to see what people bring and how I feel like having 4 different tournaments in a 2-week period, it's going to be a lot of play testing of my deck to see like just how well I can evolve with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I don't know.
Absolutely. Makes sense.
But we'll see. TBD. We'll keep you guys updated. We'll check in next week, let you know how we did, let you know what we saw, and I don't know. That's about it, I guess.
Hopefully we come home with some...
Don't jinx it.
You're right. All right. With that being said, everybody, we are out for today.
We gotta go play test.
And we wish you all luck in your store championships as well.
Yeah. Have fun. Good luck.
Have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend.